50 Kasur. Lin Huaisheng stayed directly at the base to study the new situation. During this period of time, his teacher hadn't appeared, so now he doesn't know what the result of the convoluted disorderly meeting 2 days ago. In fact, he has been beating drums in his heart as to whether India will use ground troops on a large scale and whether it will replace the Army Chief of Staff. Although he is very sure, there are always many variables in the world. He is now some regretted that they had said too much. New intelligence has been sent one by one, all about the mobilization of Indian ground troops. This is not surprising. Every time there is a conflict between India and Pakistan, the armies of both sides will have a lot of mobilization, but it does not mean that they will actually be put into combat. The intelligence from electronic interception in the Karakoram Mountains, the Indian Army's radio concealment is not bad, although the railway lines and roads are already crowded with military vehicles and tanks. Any tourist with a camera can easily photographs were taken that could be used to identify troop numbers, but no large-scale radio calls were ever detected. Behind these sneaky moves, most of them will have big moves. A few more troops have been transferred to the border, and they may be assembled near Halwala. It may also be further north. A staff officer leaned on the table and looked at the photos taken by the satellite. Oh! Lin Huaisheng walked over with interest. He was not familiar with the staff officer, but knew his surname was Ding. Look, the houses collapsed wherever they went, and the convoy was hundreds of kilometers long. The road construction they have built since the founding of the country is really bad. There are no roads with more than 4 lanes, and it is not easy to mobilize troops. Look, here there are several pontoon bridges, but there were no pontoon bridges on the Yamuna River at noon yesterday. These crawler-type bridging equipment is also the first time I have seen them, and they may be Russian products. What is the number of this unit? The information on the internet is 31. Army, Indian netizens have posted a lot of mobile phone photos, and many of them are abusive posts, because under the wartime system, the army occupied railways and roads indiscriminately, preventing them from traveling. Internet? Is it reliable? It has been confirmed with our satellite photos that all T-90 tanks are being loaded at Nagamundi railway station. From the photos on the internet, there is a clear white tiger head logo on the tank. Must be the 31st Armored Division under the 21st Army. Do you have anything more specific here? The advance force of the 31st Division has established a command post north of Halwala, and it may be assembled here. It may also be intentional to be seen. A new SAM-6 missile position was found near the command post. Why not gather in the south area? The north is mountainous, which seems to be unfavorable for tank operations. Lin Huaisheng asked Dao. He found that all the people he had met recently believed that the war would take place in the north, step by step. Historically, India-Pakistan ground operations have never been conducted south of this area. Yesterday, there was another small-scale infiltration operation, which happened to be north of Halwara. Yesterday. Obviously no one has this information. I told Lin Huaisheng. Yesterday morning, an infiltrating force composed of religious extremists destroyed the PSM-33 search radar base 7 kilometers west of Chandigarh. This morning they shipped a mobile deployment of the legal TRS-2215 to ensure the air defense of this area. Said the sergeant. You really believe that religious extremists will be interested in the warning radar? Lin Huaisheng said with a smile. From his point of view, this was obviously a military operation, but he was surprised by India's defensive ability, which is far from the border. It's too much to be so close. Don't ask me about the Pakistani intelligence agency. The water is too deep, and no one can tell. The Pakistani side only suffered a slight loss, losing about 6 to 7 fighter jets, and 2 airfields were completely destroyed, but next week, most of their frontline airfields will be difficult to keep. Are you so sure? Currently India invested 3 times as many aircraft as the Pakistani side, and next week it will be 4 times as much. In addition to mobilizing a few flying wings in the east to participate in the war, they are likely to put in new equipment, such as electronic jammers outside the defense zone or the Philkang's early warning system, or tactical ballistic missiles. If that's the case, it will be very troublesome. I listened to your lecture the day before yesterday, and frankly speaking, if India fights regardless of the international situation, Pakistan will not be able to persist until September, October, and July. Don't be too absolute. The battle that really decides the outcome will not be it could be in the air, but it must be on the ground. If Pakistan loses air supremacy, there will be no suspense in the ground battle. India has a large number of Russian air-to-surface weapons in its arsenal. Well, so far there are not many records of using precision-guided weapons. Lin Huaisheng said hesitantly. It will be used in large quantities, and they can't have these weapons piled up in the warehouse and moldy. In the war room of General Butts 29, Scorpion, Squadron, Captain Pundit sat in the last row early. In fact, he was the only one in the entire war room. The enemy briefing had to wait for a long time, and no one notified the captain to attend the meeting, but he couldn't help but want to interview the squadron captain. Although no one has asked about the bombing of the mosque for a few days, the new task has not been assigned to him. He felt that there was something wrong with the way the squadron captain looked at him these days, full of resentment, and he knew that he must have caused trouble for the country. The great mosque in Kasur is hundreds of years old, so things must have gotten very serious. He also felt some grievances. The old-fashioned MiG-27 above carried out a night air raid that required advanced navigation technology support. It was a problem in itself, and most of the responsibility seemed not to be his own. Squadron Captain Markanda came in. When I saw the captain sitting alone, it seemed that the captain looked bad. Squadron Captain, I have a question I must ask. The captain decided to get straight to the point. Do you have any questions? Said the squadron leader, shaking his head. Will I retire early? Pundit decided to ask clearly. Don't be silly, young people. If you're still thinking about this, I can tell you that yesterday their 2 F-16s bombed civilian targets in our country, killing 75 civilians, in the daytime, completely on purpose. This is war. War. The new mission has arrived, and our squadron will be operating during the day, continuing to bomb the airfields, roads, bridges, railways, and various other things near Kasur. A facility that could be used for war. The victor won't be judged, so cheer up. But, I still shame the country. Shame on the country? No, you did nothing against the country. I just want to tell you or the other pilots one thing. Don't get shot down near Kasur. There are religious schools all over there. You did the good thing, completely angered those people. Now every Indian pilot should pray that he doesn't fall into the hands of these people, said the squadron leader with a blank face. I see, squadron commander. Bring your pistol before takeoff. Don't get caught alive anyway.